Do you know, in the last few days, I've been just thinking about how I actually got to this point in the first place. How come I'm sat here talking about Jesus and talking about what Jesus means to me and hopefully what he means to you? And it's just, when I look back, it's very strange, the journey that I had to take. I was in a small village and I went to church on a regular basis, but never really understood any of it. And then I left that little village and I went to the big city. And wow, didn't that shock me? I'd never seen some of the things that were in that city, because I'd never been out the village really. I'd just been to visit odd places, but to actually live in a city was amazing. But having got there and working for a construction company, suddenly my life took off into a direction I never really expected, and it was not a good one. I found myself drinking a lot, smoking a lot, swearing a lot, womanizing a lot, and finding that actually I was being drawn into drugs as well, and it was just a awful time. And yet I can't deny that having gone through that, it has helped me so much since I've come into ministry. Well, I went from there, and then all of a sudden, for whatever reason, I started going to church. I just suddenly stopped, and obviously somewhere along my journey Jesus had got involved, but in fact it became a very shallow type of Christianity. And I found every time I got into trouble I'd just back off and run away and forget it, and then come back, feel that I was even stronger, and yet no, it wasn't strong at all. There was no power in it, and I just felt I was just using lip service to Jesus basically. And then, obviously, life just happens, and there were many things that happened to me after that, and I suddenly decided that God was not for me. I don't want him in my life. I did not want him anywhere near me. And so I carried on like this for about 4 years, and it was just sort of, why would I want to go to church when all this has happened to me? The worst things I can imagine were just falling around me, and I just thought, no, I can't do any more. I don't believe in this God, and I certainly don't believe in Jesus, so let's just carry on. But you see, I didn't realize, just like the people on the road to Emmaus, I didn't realize that actually Jesus is walking beside me. I had closed my eyes to it. I didn't recognize him and didn't want to recognize him. But for whatever reason, God hung on to me. And he kept on hanging on to me until one day he just decided, I need you to move. And I did. And I know lots of people say it, and you hear it so much on different Christian channels, but actually it's true that Jesus saved me. He saved me from the place I was. I got nowhere to go, and yet he lifted me and began my new journey. And I'm not one for using that word journey, but this time it really was. And I seemed to be walking and continuing to walk into somewhere I just wasn't sure where I was going. But he kept on lifting me and lifting me. And then in the end, I landed up in college. And I'm still wondering now how I landed up there, because of the life I lived. I just thought, why on earth would God want me, through Jesus, to come and sit in front of churches and to talk about him? But we have, and it happened, and he helped me through. And now I can honestly say that the journey with Jesus has been so amazing. And I continue on that journey. It just doesn't stop. Don't get me wrong, I still have doubts and I have fears. And I find sometimes that I'm shouting at God for all the things that are going on around me. And yet this time, there is a depth to something that I have. I can't describe it here, right in this place, but there is a depth to it that actually allows me to just hang on by my fingertips. To be able to hang on in there and know that at long last I do understand on that Emmaus road that actually maybe all that I'd hoped for has disappeared in certain parts of my life. But the fact is that Jesus is there, walks beside me, helps me through. When I think all is lost, he just continues to walk with me. So what I'd like, if you can, if you'd want to, is to share your stories with me. The doubts and the fears and the worries and concerns and where you are now in your journey. And we can help each other. So please get in touch. You can get in touch with me via my email, which is buzzard177@msn.com, or you can get me on this YouTube channel. But whatever, if you want to be in touch and you want to share something, then please do, because it would be wonderful to hear how you got to where you are in your journey with Jesus. So I'll see you again next week.